Reamillo, Australian-based artist, but I've relocated back to Manila 1.5 years ago. I've been privileged to study art since high school at the Philippine High School for the Arts. And I did take up studies at the University of the Philippines after high school from 81 to 85. But more recently, I'm more kind of going back, revisiting where all this art making comes from. And I kind of ground myself back into the environment that I grew up with, which is a piano workshop, because my dad was a piano maker. I often look at the workshop as probably my first art school. So a lot of the work that I do now is, I think, informed by this experience of growing up in that environment. I'm a kind of a artist who's interested in journeys, and I look at art as a way of maybe exploring human experiences. I move between places. I was born in Manila, migrated to Australia in '95, so I've been living there for more than 15 years. And now I find myself coming back again here. So there's this movement between places and between home and unadapted home. As I said, I grew up in the piano workshop, and I draw a lot of the framework that I do as an artist from what happens within a piano workshop. A piano workshop is a creative art space. I think it's also a social space where many people, many hands work together to build instruments. And if you look at the assembly line of a piano workshop, you find all sorts of materials, and so I use that as a framework, in what I do as an artist. I primarily am more comfortable in the idea of an artist as a facilitator. So I facilitate kind of creative activities, whether in my own self or working with others. In 2007, I embarked on building an instrument, a piano, to kind of commemorate the memory of my late father, who was the prime maker of in our family workshop. And a lot of the kind of practice that I do as an artist draws from that kind of facilitation. The title, Requiem, is a Latin word which means a kind of maybe a mass for the dead. So it has this kind of connotation of death or a demise, And I use the Latin word, again, in reference to my own sort of experience and my family's involvement in the piano. I also use the long title, Requiem para un art-chaeological di Bartolomeo Cristofori di nuova invenzione che fa il piano e il forte. Literally, it means, the word fragment, that's an Italian word fragment, which was found in the first written documentation of the piano. Literally, it means art-chaeological is the harpsichord. It's a harpsichord invented by Bartolomeo Cristofori, a new invention that plays both soft and loud. The word piano means soft in Italian, and then forte, of course, means loud. For lack of a new word for this invention, I think later it was truncated into the pianoforte or forte piano. And now, of course, we know it as the piano. I'm using the word requiem because the requiem kind of references a death, and of course the Italian fragment, that long Italian fragment, speaks of a birth. So it's a kind of contrapuntal. You have the birth and the death. And of course, when you use pianoforte, it's the opposite of soft and loud. So for me, the whole process, I think all the range of ideas that informs my work as an artist encompasses all kinds of, maybe you can call it experiences, if you like, human experiences. last February, I was informed that the old factory in Parañaque was sold out by members of the family. Well, we come from a large family, mainly 2 branches who worked on the pianos, and fortunately this was sold. And then so for me, it's a way of saying goodbye to that family legacy. This exhibition, I think, brings experiences from my kind of a family story and my life story. You know, for example, the use of matchboxes relates to a childhood experience. I think when I was 7 years old, I discovered matches, and I remember I was playing with this matchbox in the varnish section of the piano workshop. And of course, matches and high flammable varnishes are they don't mix well. And I remember getting punished for that by my dad. So it stuck to me. And of course, why Rizal? Because, you know, one of the iconic images that we find on labels of matches are the Rizal face. I guess Rizal has a strong resonance in me. Having lived overseas, you know, I try to look at Rizal, probably, you know, look at his life or his life work. You know, he was a traveler. So I kind of pay a kind of homage to this idea of this Filipino who moves. Well, as I said, the title is called Requiem. So this work is a deconstruction of 2 pianos. One is a Wittenberg piano that we made in our workshop. The other one is I think it's a copy of a Grothian upright piano. I wanted to create an installation that would kind of reference to the idea of a funeral pyre. It suggests that kind of funeral, you know, ritual. You know, I wanted to burn the piano because the whole sort of legacy is already gone. So I want to say goodbye properly by symbolically burning it. So we have the piano deconstructed, opened up, and all the parts are kind of floating around the space, and also the objects. You know, they also kind of maybe reference a kind of a reliquary. If you notice the objects of the piano, some of the parts also gets reanimated in the other reliquaries around the installation. Some of the installation also references a kind of movement, you know, so places that I've been to, but also bringing remnants of where I came from, you know, into those images. And hopefully, you know, people can get a sense of, you know, maybe, you know, where we're from or where we're going. You know.